Today is Saturday, September 30th, 2023. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 45 Week 1.
This should be an auspicious occasion, but unfortunately, someone has messed with the premiere of the 45th season.
Well, how dare she?
Yes. Well,
obviously, Stacy's not over it yet.
That is my opinion. I'm still struggling with it, but I look forward to Saturdays when we have the listener feedback show where we can check in with the other super fans. Sometimes they give me a different perspective. I can actually factually say I've learned more about myself and more about the social aspects of the game by listening to and producing the listener feedback shows, and it's given me a deeper appreciation for my favorite show, Survivor. And I'm looking forward to hearing the different takes and the different insights that people offer, because we all come at it from a different branch in the tree, a different place in the world, different lens that we can look at things through. Sometimes there are similarities, sometimes there are differences, and that can inform and influence us, and we can grow through the process. So I don't want to get wrapped around the negative axle with what Hannah did.
You don't want to be an Emily?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to be an Emily. So I've been looking forward to and been having a good time putting together the different audio elements and all that. So how many did we end up with?
24.
Okay, so it's busy first listener feedback show.
Yeah.
Definitely some effort went into the production and getting things together. Is there anything we need to cover before
we're out of practice?
Yeah, well, yeah. Just a little rusty. We're shaking it off and getting back to it. Is there anything that we need to cover before we dive in?
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Well, there you have it.
Nothing at all.
Let's get going. First up, we got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Oh, man, guys. Normally you hear me, you set the tone with the feedback with a huge woo, and I thought this was a very good premiere. A lot of content, a lot of character development, good challenges, but instead of a woo-hoo, I'm going to let out a huge boo and wah for Hannah, a quitter, joining the likes of Austin from way back in Pearl Islands, and Janu, and Kathy, and Julie, Rocker's ex-girl there. All these quitters. There's a few more that I didn't name. Whoa, disgusting. Probst, I think I read an interview with Dalton Ross, admitted it was a mistake in casting her.
Yep.
Mishap with that for sure. Good riddance, though. Man, was it sad. That takes away a lot, but I'm glad she's gone. And what's sad even more is I think you would have saw crazy, villainous Emily getting her torch snuffed. It looked like that yellow team was set on getting rid of her. Caleb and Sabaya, Brandyn even. They would have gotten rid of her because Emily is running her crazy mouth. By the way, that girl better watch out. And I give Brandyn credit. I thought he might end up quitting too, but he toughened it up despite the struggle with the ladder in the first challenge, and then having a hard time in the second challenge as well at the end there. But at least he didn't quit. So I'm hoping the best for Brandyn, and hopefully he doesn't get medically evacuated either. But I'm knocking on wood for him. Both the other players or characters, I gotta mention one of my homegirls from around here, Kendra. I love that she's working with some of those women there on the Team she's on. We'll see how long that takes. We're trying to work a women's alliance. You know how long that lasts. And Bruce, I thought he was hilarious, trying not to get overconfident because he's a returnee. Mind you, he barely lasted, 12 hours it was till he got medically evacuated in 44. But based on what I saw the next time on, he better watch it. I think he's getting a little too much of himself, and it looks like his team, in particular, those women that are on his team, getting annoyed with him. So I don't know. He could be on the hot seat, but I don't know. I think he's going to be an asset in challenges for that team. And how about Seifu, the karate person or gymnast or singer? He's turned into a big character already, but it wasn't good he isolated himself from the other team. I thought that was funny, looking for an idol, and then he heard the other women saying, where is he? Is he looking for an idol? And then he heard everything they said. What's he being, Tony? I thought that was hilarious. I think he's a big character, as is Caleb, as is Emily. And Jake, wasn't a fan of Jake, and who was it? Was it him and Brando? I think they couldn't finish the Sweat versus Savvy for the blue team. I don't know. Even though he's from Boston, I don't have big hopes on him right now. And Emily, too, is clearly going to be one of the big villains this season based on how she reacted with the marooning with Bruce. But, man, sad to see a quitter, though, Hannah. Oh, and I'm sure, Stacey, you're disgusted, just like all the callers are as well. Can't wait to hear what everyone else had to say, guys. Hopefully a better episode, too. Take care.
Whoa.
You got to be careful, Pete. You don't want to get Stacy going.
I'm not gonna venture down that path
But next
right now.
up, we have a call from Christiana.
Okay.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Christiana from Massachusetts. Long time no talk. For the past year and a half, I have been busy growing, taking care of, and keeping alive my daughter, who will turn 1 next month. So
Wow.
I haven't always been able to watch Survivor as it's airing. I have kept up, but sometimes I watch a week or 2 weeks behind. So that's made it hard to keep up with the podcast. But I did watch the premiere this week, so I wanted to call in with some brief thoughts. First and foremost, Stacey, I totally agree with you, and I had the same thought in regards to casting. First of all, with Hannah, to have someone who can't hack it after one day. Now, I don't think I could hack it in one day, but I also wouldn't attempt to go on the show. So in terms of the nicotine and all of that, that was kind of a mismatch. She should have done better, or they should have done better. I don't know whose fault that is in terms of the weaning, but it's a very real issue. And I totally understand why she needed to get the heck out of there. And with Brandyn and just all his various, very real, legitimate ailments, anxiety is real, reflux is real. But if you have a medicine-dependent medical issue, can't you not be on the show? Isn't that part of the screening process? That's the part that confuses me, and I feel bad if this is his dream, and so far it's been a giant struggle that's aired on national television, but I don't know. It's just not good TV. It'll be good TV if he rises to the occasion. That will be awesome, and that makes sense why they're showing us these low lows, but if it doesn't work out for him, and I honestly don't see how it possibly could, purely because of his tribe. He could be the weak link on an otherwise strong tribe and sail through to the merge because he wouldn't be losing these challenges, but the tribe, I don't see them winning much, if at all. And yeah, they might get decimated. I would love to see, if they do get down to small numbers, some kind of swap. A 3-2 swap would be my preference to mix it up, but they haven't been doing swaps in this new era, so I don't know. And that's all I have to say. I am intrigued. The cast is very interesting, a very diverse group of characters in personality and otherwise, so I'm looking forward to the season, and hopefully I can stay up to date on watching the episodes and maybe get some calls in this season. Take care. Bye.
Yes, great to hear your voice again,
Yes,
Christiana.
it is. Welcome back.
Good job growing that little one. I liked your description. That was cool. It's like, where's this going? Oh. And I had read that there was a viewing party that Brandyn and Emily had. And that at one point there's, in the beginning there was a lot of excitement. And then as the episode went on, everybody got more and more quiet.
Where did you read about that?
On the Survivor subreddit. So it was like they weren't that well received at their own viewing party that they had invited people to. I don't know if that's true or not. But that seems like that would be one of the things that would be really, really hard on Brandyn. You would think if Emily cared, she wouldn't admit it.
Well, the thing is that they don't know beforehand how they're going to be portrayed. I mean, they know what
received.
happened, and you don't know any of that until it airs.
Right.
So
it could be, he might have been having a really tough time this week. Yep.
Who didn't?
Okay. All right. Thanks, Christiana. Next up, we got a call from Robert.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans. This is Robert from Canada calling in. Well, has there ever been a more ironic title for an episode than Hannah given the title of We Can Do Hard? Well, Hannah, several of you, yourself included, can't even do somewhat challenging. And Brandyn, I'm sorry that you have anxiety, and I do feel bad about that. But between that and your complete lack of any physical game, maybe you shouldn't have been cast. I think that Jeff Probst, in search of epic TV moments in the past few seasons in this new era, seems to be casting more and more type of these characters where they're so unsure of themselves. And I kind of want to see the opposite. I want to see people that are strong and confident. All we get this season is a bunch of lawyers, influencers, therapists, people that are accountants or money managers. Where are the tradespeople? Give me some steel workers, some welders, even roofers. How about firefighters, police, or even teachers? And what is Emily's deal? We all knew that she was going to be kind of nuts. And again, I feel bad for saying that, but I think she surpassed my expectations. She has absolutely zero social game. And I've seen people online say that Emily kind of points out that we can't have villains in this modern era because here she is a villain and everyone's online crapping on her. But I think you could still be a villain and have some sort of social game, physical game, whatever. So I don't really buy that. But I think this episode exposed some real flaws in their casting, and hopefully it's something they can work out. I think Jeff's way too caught up in trying to engineer the game and getting the kind of TV moments that he's looking for. I don't want to hear anything about nicotine withdrawals on Survivor. I think there's enough people applying that we shouldn't have to. But anyway, with that baggage out the door, I did enjoy this season premiere. I ended up going with Austin for my USB, and I think he had a really great episode. And I think him being so physical, it's going to be a tough road to the finale, but I could see him getting there. And regardless, I think he's going to be a really fun person to root for. The Sweat and Savvy challenge, at first I thought it was interesting, the twist of them having to do both, but it actually makes it more interesting when they have to pick, and it also makes it possible. I don't think that challenge would have been possible no matter what. As far as Tribal Council, I hate quitters, so it kind of sucked. Good riddance, Hannah. If I was there, I probably wouldn't have given any I love yous. She just made me feel terrible for all the people that have applied and never gone on to Survivor. At least Emily and Brandyn wanted to play with whatever limited toolbox they have available for themselves. Anyway, for next week, I suspect that Lulu is gonna lose the next challenge, and they'll have a tough debate about what matters most, basic physical ability and challenges or keeping their own sanity. So I think it should be interesting, and I also look forward to everyone else's feedback. You guys just take care.
Thanks, Robert. It was interesting to hear Probst say that they had definitely failed with Hannah. And for whatever reason, Probst and Jesse Tannenbaum came out of the gate this season ragging on, they didn't say Adam Klein specifically, but Adam offers a service where he'll help you put together your video and give you feedback on how to get the best version of you to submit to casting. And Jesse Tannenbaum and Jeff Probst have come out talking about how that's completely unnecessary and what a bad idea that is. And I guess I understand the spirit of it. They don't want people thinking that they've got to have money to get help to get cast. But the reality is that there's 3 people on this season's cast and supposedly 2 on next season's cast that worked with Adam.
And who are they?
Brandyn, Caleb, and Brando this season all had worked with Adam at some point. I think Brandon's was years back from what Adam posted on when he was responding to the first Jesse Tannenbaum post. And then Probst came out talking about how you shouldn't be doing that in his first podcast episode this week. And he said, oh, well, we've been working with Brandyn for years. Well, Brandyn worked with Adam years ago. I don't know exactly how they could know one way or another. And I don't think Brandon's he's not your shining example to point to. And he says, of course, we would have found and cast Caleb anyway, regardless. Well, you got no way of knowing any of that. It's not like presenting yourself in the positive light is something that everybody just innately knows. It was interesting. I don't know why they felt the need to go so hard on that. Anyway, thanks again, Robert. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
Hello, Survivor fans. What an interesting and unfortunate start to the season. I know I'm not the only one who is disappointed about the quit this episode, and I was hoping Hannah would do well, but more on that later. Emily has pointed out a few good thoughts on Bruce and his return. I know he didn't last long before, but he was out there and knows some information that may be an asset to his tribe. However, he has come out a bit strong when at the Bellow camp, and he did seem to be a bit bossy. So that's not a great sign. Not to mention that he's been going slow at the challenges. It was an interesting twist in the Sweat versus Savvy challenge this time around, in that they had to complete both tasks instead of just one within the time limit. Those logs did seem heavy and challenging, and having to move 40 of them seems like a lot. Before talking about the mess that is the Lulu tribe, I'm going to talk about the new Beware Advantage. Instead of just one task, there is a series of tasks that need to be completed, and it will be interesting to see what the deciphered message is. Austin does seem to be a fun player to watch. Now, what is going on with Lulu? That tribe is just a complete mess. All the marooning challenge... At the marooning challenge, Brandyn struggled to get up the ladder and blew their lead, and there was a crying session right away. When I saw Hannah break down, I did have a pretty good idea that my initial thoughts about her were wrong, and sure enough, I was. I will not be surprised at all if Lulu goes back to tribal next week and another person will leave that tribe. All right, thanks, Jack. Up next, we got a call from Brandyn.
Hey there, Joanne and Stacy. This is Brandyn from Indiana, coming to you from Richmond, Virginia, the airport, as I am on my way back from the family vacation over the last week. Ended up watching the first episode of Survivor this season on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and of course having the ocean right there and the beach right there, and being on the beach so often throughout those days, and kind of give it a bit of a different feel watching that first episode. It was a lot of fun to watch. I enjoyed myself. I am a little bit bummed as far as the JSFL side goes, as I was one of those folks that picked Hannah as my USB. And I think the thing that frustrated me the most was that by the time that she eventually did quit at the end of the episode, it seemed like it had already been, it felt like she quit moments after getting on the beach, the way that the edit played out. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe her "we can do hard things" was her actually trying, but man, it just felt like she gave up so fast and was so ready to go so quickly. Man, what a letdown as far as JSFL goes. So, I guess I'll be watching for the merge and for my eventual repick of somebody, but just a bummer as far as the points go. As far as Emily goes, I am very curious how that continues. I saw a lot of pushback online against Emily, and I do think that there's value to the show having villains and having those people that kind of naturally or maybe purposefully create that sort of conflict, but I don't know that the claims of racism are necessarily ready to be made, at least for me. Obviously, I'm not necessarily giving her the benefit of the doubt, but it doesn't seem like she's giving anyone the benefit of the doubt, and at least in this episode, it happened to be 3 people of color that she was not giving the benefit of the doubt to. So I think that I'm not ready to label her that yet, but I do have her on my watch list. Let's just say that I am excited to see where this season goes. The Yellow Tribe seems like a complete train wreck. I don't know where they're going to go or how they're going to get past this early stage. Obviously, I think they're going to be having to hope for an early merge, or maybe we're going to end up with another sort of Tika situation as far as the numbers dwindling down very quickly. But I felt a natural pull to Sabaya and to Caleb, as well as Katura. All 3 of those players, I don't know, something about the way that they were presented really made me like them a whole lot, even more so than the pre-season videos had shown. So interested to see where we go from here. I think Brandon's out next, unfortunately, but excited to hear what everyone else thinks. Bye.
Thanks, Brandyn.
Yeah, I think I agree with his assessment.
Regarding
Emily. I didn't see any indication that she was being racist. I mean, it's easy to look at that because she was criticizing people of color, but I have the feeling she doesn't see color to criticize. She criticizes everyone.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Certainly something to watch for.
We'll watch for it for sure. But, I don't know. I still think she's just pretty much negative all the time.
The poor impulse control that could have just been what her targets were.
'Cause
I don't know. I
that's
saw
what-
other people asking about it too. And
That's what Sabaya said about her, is her glass is always half empty. Mm-hmm. It's never half full. It's always half empty. So that kind of does lean toward that. And I agree. I really underestimated Katura.
Yeah.
I like her a lot.
yeah, it was interesting getting her take on Jay, because you roll in with Kendra's assessment of that's who they would take out if they needed to, because he was a lawyer. And so she felt incredibly
Yeah.
justified in hiding that
Absolutely.
she was a lawyer. And then when Kelly and Kendra were vibing about being 30, she said she was 32, 29
But
and 30.
she's not.
No, she's like 35. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she was 34 maybe when she was out there, something like that.
Her
Yeah,
bio
so
says 35.
she
so.
just rolled herself right in
Absolutely.
with that.
Go with the
And,
flow.
yeah, we're all the same.
Whatever's
That
happening.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, she did really well. Yep, better than I expected too.
Yeah, I'm liking her a lot. I still like Sabaya, but not quite as much. And she's not as physically fit as I thought she would be. Though maybe that'll make her less of a threat
Maybe
with the
in a
other
different
women.
circumstance.
Yeah, so
I liked when we were on one of our rewatches, we were watching when she was doing her pyramid or batteries conspiracy theory thing, and Caleb looked
Oy.
at her and you could see him mouthing, what? And it was Caleb that tried to bring Emily in, I think, as a voice of
he
reason.
wanted Emily to say
He wanted some
something.
support, yeah. And
He
of
didn't
course-
want to say it. He wanted Emily to say
yeah,
it.
it's like, you're a little cuckoo. But Emily completely dodged it, so,
What? Brandon totally agreed, didn't
yep.
he? Said so. But anyway, that gave me a moment's pause for my USB. So, but
Yes.
I still like her. But
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned.
She'll be fun to cheer for, but she might not have all the skills she needs to get there. We'll see.
Okay.
Thanks, Brandon. We enjoyed that. Next up, we got a call from Chris.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy. Hey, Survivor fans. I waited until the last hour to get in on the game this season, and I didn't make the side challenge because it's just been so crazy lately. And I didn't do any homework. I did about 20 minutes worth of homework listening to Javik Part 1, and I stopped at some point and never got back to it. So, yeah, I'm a knucklehead, but I got the first boot all on my own. I judged that book
Nice.
by the cover, and I hope my
Good job.
USB turns out to be a good one. And I hope the season turns out to be a great one for everybody here. And Drew, you did an amazing job on your song. That was really awesome. What a showstopper. You guys have a great season. Bye.
Awesome. A little dose of positivity from Chris in Alabama. Thank you.
All right.
Chris. Next up, we got an email from Mary in Maryland. Hello, everyone. I'm happy the new season has finally arrived and we're all back together again. I thought I had read that wrong at first. I enjoyed the premiere despite the disappointing ending. I've heard quite a bit of negative feedback about the cast overall, but surprisingly, I find most of them pretty likable. Based on Javik and the other pregame interviews, I had Hannah and Emily leaving early. Glad I wasn't too far off. I had chosen Emily as my first vote off this week. So close. Brandon was much different on the show than he seemed in interviews. He had seemed so affable and relaxed beforehand. I thought he'd make it for a few weeks at least. I was surprised that someone with such serious psychological and physical issues that are easily triggered by stress, lack of sleep, and food would apply for Survivor in the first place and make it through casting. Hannah was quite a disappointment. I could just tell in the pregame interview that she was very extra. If she likes her bed and comfort so much, I'm not sure why applying for Survivor would even cross her mind. That's why I think she was a recruit.
Well, and that she was there because she wants to sing in musicals.
Yes. And
So
this could have been
she
her
wants
big
to get noticed.
Yeah.
Same as Brandon.
Until she realized
And
the
as
cost.
it turns out, Sifu.
Not sorry to see her go, but it did make for an anticlimactic end to the season premiere. Well said. It's a toss-up between Emily or Brandon to go next, and I'm sure I'm in good company there, although you never know, Emily may turn down her negativity and settle in with the group, and Brandon may stabilize as well. We have certainly seen grating personalities or people who are struggling physically and mentally at the beginning of the game get over the initial hump to end up lasting a long while. The Yellow Tribe appears to be in bad shape, though. I hope Sabaya, Caleb, and Sean can make it through to a tribe mix-up and link up with some other strong players. No one stood out to me as potential winner material, but time will tell as we get to know everyone. I liked Kelly the best, so chose her as my USB. Sabaya really impressed me with her
Good choice.
personality and physical strength. Hopefully with the 90-minute episodes, we'll get to know the other players pretty well. Also wanted to share about meeting Jam Jam this summer. We go to San Juan, Puerto Rico every summer, so I looked up his salon out of curiosity. Luck would have it that it was right around the corner from our hotel. I had an awesome pedicure and haircut at the salon, which would have been thrilling enough, but Jam Jam was there that day. To my surprise, he hung out with me talking Survivor almost the entire time. He was absolutely the most genuine, easy to talk with person I've ever met, and I couldn't believe he'd take time out of his day to chat with a random fan. He told me some things about what it was like to go through casting, being at the hotel before the filming begins, and what it was like to have to keep quiet on the results for so long and watch it with friends and family each week. Truly an unforgettable bucket list experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. That's fantastic. Here's to another hopefully exciting Survivor season. Thanks, Mary. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Good morning from Southwest Harbor, Maine. This is Rebecca, and all I have to say is, whoa. From the get-go, I was like, Drew, I was one of those guys who have to say they're from the Ivy League. Katora, I love her. I made her my USB. Jake, kind of adore him. I was gonna make him my USB based solely upon his Boston accent because I've been dating a guy in Maine who has a very thick Boston accent. He keeps telling me I'm wicked smart. Yeah. But I went with Katora. Sifu, I like him. He's kind of cool. He's kind of varied. They all keep calling out Bruce. Jeff, why are you calling out Bruce? And my question is, so did the season 45, did they all watch season 44? I mean, how close were these seasons recorded? Because they all knew what happened to Bruce. And then Emily, beyond negative, so negative. I loved watching Kelly and Kendra and Katora bonding in Lulu. I had chosen Hannah to go home. We'll get to that later. Sweet and Savvy is a race? What? Nice. Very, very nice update. That made it really kind of chilling. And then no one won. And then Emily again is like, something happened. They got advantages. Okay, Austin finds a challenge for an idol, but he has to do so many things to get it. Again, nice twist. Okay, Bello is my favorite team. I always root for Blue. I do not like Lulu, and I kind of like people on Reba. They do the immunity challenge, and all of a sudden, Hannah wants to go home because she wants to smoke. For those of us who have done nicotine withdrawal, and even though I'm a very healthy person, I did smoke in my youth. Yeah, it's pretty intense, but I think she might be the first person who wants to quit Survivor because she needs to smoke. I thought she was going to go home because I thought she was going to be bossy and she was going to rub people the wrong way, and they were going to do that thing that they did in season 44 where they just voted out the most bossy person. So even though I got the 2 points, it seems like a hollow victory because they didn't vote her out. Nobody voted her out. She sat in tribal council and begged to go home. I don't feel like I got 2 points for the first vote off because there was no first vote off. There was somebody begging to go home. Stacey kept saying she's a quitter. Yeah, she's a quitter. She asked to go home, and all I could think of is how many people want to be on this show and try so hard to get on this show, and she got through one day and was like, nope, I want to sleep in a bed, I want to have a cigarette, I want to go home. Hollow victory. Okay, so my thoughts, I love everyone on Blue. Brandyn, Emily, I don't like you at all. Caleb, I like you a lot. And I like Sabila, and I really like Sean. I like Sifu, Julie. I don't like Drew. But I do like Austin and Dee. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what shakes out. I'm excited to see what happens next. I love the 90-minute episodes, and thank you for all that you do. Greetings from Maine.
Thanks, Rebecca. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Sandy.
Hi, guys. This is Sandy from Atlanta. I want to thank Brandyn for showing me exactly what I would look like if I ever dared to be on Survivor. And I'm a super fan. I have been called that. Okay, I'll take it. However, if he is a super fan, it's like he didn't even try to prepare. They didn't try to make fire. Hannah was sweeping on a beach. Okay, I don't get that. But they just completely unprepared. Who knows how to make a shelter? I don't know. Maybe gather some wood for a fire. Do something, for pity's sake. Anyway, there's lots of other people that are doing really well, but this tribe is going to go to zero. I can just see it. You can just see it happening. Train wreck. But I'm here for it. That's all what Survivor's about, right? Okay, thanks again, Brandyn. See you soon.
Lesson learned for Sandy. Okay, good deal. Next up, we got an email from Thomas in East York.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and fellow Survivor fans. It's been a while since I've sent in feedback for an episode. First off, I'm not really sure what I actually watched. At one point, one of the teams seemed to have people who believed the plot of the movie Stargate, with having an alien race using the pyramids as a landing platform. They would make that. Eric von Daniken proud, along with the creators of Stargate as well. Second, why did we see someone who was supposedly compelled by not liking Gabler's win be not only voted out, but essentially a quitter? She shouldn't have be counted as first out because of the dumb forced vote she created. Also, I'm not really sure how I feel about the 90-minute format of the show, as I'm not really big on seeing all the stuff that goes on at camp all the time. Personally, an hour of Survivor is enough for me, as I'm not really sure exactly what all of the extra stuff really adds up to anymore. Well, that's all for now. Thomas out.
Thanks, Thomas. Essentially, we got less in the premiere than we've been used to.
Because we usually get a 2-hour premiere.
We have been getting 2-hour premieres, and I think I don't remember what season, but they did a 2-hour premiere, then a 90-minute episode, and then they went to the normal hour-long. So the benefits won't start to show up for a little while.
Probably,
technically, yeah. Although we will get the old school Survivor intro, I think, in the next episode. So, where they all get featured for a minute, the different casts, different tribes.
We got to see a lot more crying and blundering.
Yeah. I
think but it helps us get to know them better.
The results of this one are going to skew our perception of the value of the 90 minutes. Hang in there, Thomas.
For a little while.
Maybe we'll get some more good stuff.
We're going to move past it all.
Yeah.
It's still going to be a good season.
Up next, we got a new caller. We got a call from Denise.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Denise from Florida. I am a long-time listener and a first-time caller. I think that they usually typecast a super fan or nerd as usually the 90-pound weakling like Cochran or David Wright. But this time they did something really different, and I think it was actually kind of cruel. With Brandyn, he's more like what you would actually see most super fans be like. He's a big guy, and he's got some issues. I was actually kind of happy to see him when he got on the boat. He had his Aussie hairdo and some questionable physicality. And then he started weeping. Not just a single tear of joy for being there, but big, ugly crying. And then they have him in the challenge, and he's struggling to pull himself out of the water, and he's too big for his teammate, Sean, to boost him out. They said, he had a panic attack. Later on, you had the whole thing where he was sobbing over his acid reflux. And I just had to wonder, casting... is this a good choice to represent the superfans? It seems kind of cruel. It seems cruel to Brandyn. I actually go to an event every year that hosts a bunch of reality stars, and I see those fans just like Brandyn. And I want good things. I want to see him go through some kind of a positive growth arc. I do not want to watch Brandyn spiral down.
Nope.
And I'm very concerned that if he gets voted out next week, like is most likely to happen, that's just going to be sad. I can't do this without touching on Hannah just a little bit. I think maybe she misled casting somewhat, and possibly because she's a therapist, she was able to hide some of her red flags. For all that Jeff Probst talks about how they do all this psych evaluation and all that stuff, it just seems like they really missed that with her. I was feeling bad for her a little bit because I saw how they were torturing her on social media. And then I listened to her exit interviews, and I started to feel less bad for her because she seems very unapologetic. It would have been nice to have heard her say, T, I'm sorry I let y'all down, and I feel bad for the alternate who's sitting over there, and I was selfish. But no, she never said that. She was totally cool with what she did, and she basically was a little bit mocking, saying, oh, gee, I'm sorry I didn't give you the TV you wanted. So to heck with her, she can just go away. And real quick, I think Emily is not forthright. I think she's just rude. Her frankness had this look at me quality about it that seemed pretty forced. That yellow team, man, I think we'll have a good season, but it's been a rough start. So thank you guys. I enjoy your show. And wow, it's the first time I've ever called in on any of these things. So this was exciting.
Excellent. Good job, Denise.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
The one thing that I had told you is like, by the end of the season, I won't remember her name. She'll just be, the person that quit. The beginning of the show, but that's the only reason she'll be at all memorable. Otherwise, people just forget she was ever on the show, probably.
No, quitting like that in the beginning is going to be kind of a hallmark in it.
Well, I'm going to forget her name.
I want to be hopeful that the season will overcome that, because there are some potentially really good folks that look like they're on the other tribes, and a few on this one.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can come over. And like Denise was saying, wouldn't it be great to have a redemption arc for Brandyn? He wanted a redemption arc so that he could have the David Wright experience. He said that in his interviews and I think in his bio, that was a big part of what he's here for, is for Survivor to recreate
it's time to start
him.
stepping up.
Well,
then.
it certainly broke him down to some fundamental elements in the first go. So maybe it'll turn around.
That would be awesome. I would love to see that. So.
Sure. And that's the kind of engineered TV moment. That's probably why Probst said they had been hanging on to him and as a casting option for years, is so they could have another David Wright moment.
Okay.
Thanks again, Denise. Next up, we got a call from David.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh. Welcome back. I was so glad to hear your recap. I wanted to say a couple things about it. When Drew sang his loser song, I was laughing through the whole thing. I really enjoyed that so much. And then hearing Chris talk about his car accident that totaled the car, I'm so glad that nobody in your family was hurt. We are all part of the Survivor family, and we are all here for each other. So many of my first impressions were upended in this episode. I picked Brando as my USB, but I debated between him and Sean. I thought both of them did much better than I expected. And even though Brando did not win the Sweat Savvy challenge, I really felt that he gave it his all. Also, on the Yellow Lulu tribe, I expected Caleb to be cocky and full of himself, and so far he's exceeded my expectations. If he can stick with Sabaya, I think they both will go far. I really liked her pep talk to herself. So you go, girl. And Emily, you go, girl, in a different way. Thinking about getting rid of your strongest player at the very first tribal council is, I have no idea what she's thinking, how that is going to be good for the team or for her gameplay. I expected her to be voted off first, and when she wasn't, I was disappointed. Over on the Red Tribe, Reba, Mom Julie may stick around longer than I expected. She seems to be fitting in with her tribe. As long as they keep winning, she's got a good chance of going far in this game. Thanks to Austin, I think the team is going to do well. He's really working hard, and I hope that he can figure out the advantage and not lose his vote at his first tribal council. Seafood, the stealth idol seeker, busted. Over on Blue Bellow, drunken Uncle Brucey is not as much an undercover boss daddy as he thinks he is. Also, the John and Keturah, we'll see you in court. The 3 Ks, Keturah, Kelly, Kendra, forming an all-girls alliance. Good for you, girls. Let's hope it lasts. As for Hannah, I am with you, Stacy, 100%. She took the place of somebody who dreamed to be on Survivor, and she quit. And I really am annoyed with her. It was great having an hour-and-a-half episode, and going to have them all this season is super. And I don't start watching till at least a half hour in so that I can fast forward through all the commercials. Amen. And that's the only way I'm going to make it. And so looking forward to the next episode, and glad you guys are back podcasting. Talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, David. Next up, we got an email from Yazz in NorCal. Hello, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans. So happy the show is back and to hear all your lovely voices. So for this season, I decided not to read anything or listen to any interviews. I picked my USB by pulling up Paul's roster, closing my eyes and putting my finger on my computer screen. I ended up with Caleb. We shall see how this works out. It can't be any worse than past seasons where I spent time reading and listening and trying to make an educated guess. Closest I've ever gotten was Jesse, and he didn't even make it to the finale. He got close to the finale, though. So my thoughts on the first episode: the yellow team is a hot mess. Like Joanne, I don't have the best memory, but I can't think of a team from the past that was as screwed up as this one. First off, and I expect everyone will be saying this, but Emily has to go. What is her problem? Immediately attacking Bruce, then aggressively trying to undermine almost everyone on her team from the get-go. Her weird attack of Caleb and Sabaya at Tribal was crunchy and made me very uncomfortable. Her negativity was just too much and not fun to watch. I hope she's gone soon. Then we have Hannah. Why did she even apply? And why was she cast? She had no interest in even being there. Waste of space. And last but certainly not least, Brandyn. What to say? Wow. He can't even climb a ladder but thinks he can make it on Survivor. I feel sorry for him, but man, what a weak link for the team. If they want to win challenges, they have to get rid of him. But if they want to have a positive team environment, they have to get rid of Emily. Tough choice. I have a feeling they will be back at Tribal Council a lot, though, and hopefully shed the dead weight quickly. I really liked Keturah and Austin from the get-go. I think the blue team will do well, although it will be interesting to see how the personalities meld, especially Kendra. She would grate on my nerves. And I'm a Libra. Nice. Love the 90 minutes. It flew by. Looking forward to next week. Yazz. Thanks, Yazz. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana, and this was wild, all right? First of all, Emily is just the worst. Okay, the whole Yellow Tribe sucks. Caleb and Sabaya are amazing, and they're just the best. And then there's the rest of them. Brandyn is a mess. I forgot Sean was even on this here or on this tribe. He just disappeared randomly and then showed back up 2 minutes before Tribal. Emily is just, she sucks. And then Hannah freaking just quits. I can't remember the last time somebody just didn't want to be there on Survivor. I know Matthew quit last season, but that was medically induced quit. He wanted to be there. It's been a while since somebody just quit, and I really wish that Mean Jeff was still around. Now we have nice, empowering Jeff, whatever. But if we still had Mean Jeff, like if we had the same energy Jeff gave Austin when he quit in Pearl Islands with this Tribal Council, that would have been hilarious. He made the face, but then he held back. Oh, Jeff, come on, man. Dang it, dude. Glad she's gone, though. When she just talked about how she didn't want to be there, I was like, what the heck? This is season 45. We have people who don't want to be here, but counteracting that, so much fun energy from people who actually do want to be there. Like Sifu having the time of his life. He's a mess, but he's so much fun. Bruce was great. Jake is great. Brando was great. I know we didn't see a lot of them, but that Red Tribe seems really fun. I had Drew as my vote pick because I just thought that he wouldn't mesh well. But he seems like he's having fun too. He gave me, I don't know, weird vibes with his confessional about, oh, this is Party Drew or whatever. But I enjoyed watching everybody who actually wanted to be on the show, except Emily. I know she wants to be there, but she sucked. But yeah, blue and red are just killing it. And then there's yellow. So that's going to be really interesting. I guess we kind of know some dynamics. Obviously, Sifu's putting a target on his back. Austin has the advantage. Bruce is being a little bossy, I guess. And then on the yellow tribe, there's some clear divisions happening. Obviously, Emily is looking at Caleb and Sabaya as threats because they're like a duo, because she thought it was weird that they volunteered to do the sweat and seven. Like, was anybody else going to do it? What do you mean? Do you want to do it? Come on. That's not a weird thing. I hate when people are like, oh, so-and-so wants to go on this thing. Because one, yeah, it puts a target on your back and on my back. Great. Whatever. But also, I don't care. Go do sweat and savvy. I think it's stupid when people are just like, that's weird, that's suspicious that this person wants to experience parts of Survivor. Gotta vote them out. Come on. Yeah. So yeah, I will see you guys next time.
Excellent. Thanks, Parker. There's a extra video. I think there was probably 3, but the one worth watching is the one on the Reba tribe where they're trying to get fire and where Sifu's trying to get the fire going. So that one's worth a watch.
For 8 hours.
Yeah. I'll make sure there's a link in the show notes for that. Gets a little more. You get a little more from Sifu, a little more from Drew. They're primarily featured in that. But I think you actually get a little bit from the whole tribe in the course of that extra video. So it's worth a watch. Next up, we got a call from Victoria.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy and all the survivors out there. My name's Victoria from Maryland. It's been about 2 or 3 years since I sent any emails or sent any feedback. Life has just been lifing. So, this episode for me was definitely a thumbs down. It was terrible. I just found myself upset most of the episode, which maybe that was the point of it, I guess, question mark. But yes, so my voice is gone pretty much just because my son went homecoming king, and so he had his football game yesterday, and so I've just been yelling the entire time, so excuse my voice, guys. But with this episode, from Emily, just from the very first time she opened her mouth, even with her confession, it was so irky. And that was very irky and negative. Like, you could feel her negative energy. And then with the quitting, and then with Brandyn having his issues, which I don't even really mind Brandon's issues because he's still there. Like, he still wasn't like, I'm just gonna quit. And so I'm always like, I'm a therapist. So I love crying and I understand panic attacks, but it's giving he lied on his resume. That's what it's giving to me. Like, he didn't look at the qualifications. So at certain times I was just like, get up off the log. Like I said, I'm a therapist, so I love the crying. I don't have a problem with crying, but cry and build the shelter at the same time.
There you go.
It's just, wow. One of the things too is that they didn't complete the mission. And so like the sweat and stretch and sweat, I don't remember what it was, but the fact that they didn't complete it was crazy to me. Like, I'm just like, wow, they did all that work to come back with nothing. And I was surprised that people weren't questioning that more, because I definitely would have. So it was like, it seemed like Emily was the only one that was questioning it. So this episode for me was a thumbs down. And then too, I have a question. Do they plan on going anywhere else? I am half Samoan, so I love looking at the islands and I love being in the Polynesian area, but it's getting a little repetitive. I'm gonna need for them to start going to different places. I actually love that about Survivor. So hopefully things pick up. I'm hoping that was the narrative that they were trying to set, because it was weird. It was just a little too happy. Like, I love happy. And then side notes, why is everybody a lawyer? Like, where are the firefighters? Where are the nurses? Where are the cops? Like, where? It just seems like they had a formula, and it was just like, let me just throw 39 lawyers on here and see how they all survive. I feel like that's a bar joke somewhere. All right, guys, thank you for listening, and I'll be listening to everybody else. I'm hoping that this episode in the season kind of pick up some more, and people actually pretend like they're ready to survive. All right, guys, bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Victoria.
Welcome back.
Congratulations to your son. I bet that was exciting. And unfortunately, they're going to stay in Fiji.
Yep. They have no plans.
They've negotiated a deal. Jeff's super proud of how he sparked a small film industry there with the work that they've done with the crews. I think he says they hire up to 400 for GNs when they're in filming, and that's actually sparked a small TV film industry. So with the training and skills they've gotten from working on Survivor, they're getting lots of other work. So nowadays we have to go to international Survivor shows to see different locations.
Oh, well.
Thanks again, Victoria. Great to hear from you again. Next up, we got a call from Marla.
Marla.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor friends. It's Marla from Illinois. How are you? Some of you might remember that I used to call in with my adorable daughter who was a child but is now a senior in high school.
Wow.
Which is shocking to all of us. She doesn't really want to give any feedback anymore, but she did walk into the room when I was watching and saw Emily talking about Bruce and said, "Woof, who's that?" And then she took off in my car. So we did get some feedback from her anyway. I thought that it was really funny to see Jake's bedroom. I think that my child used to have a bedroom just like that in our old house. I noticed that all the challenges this week had things that were really heavy, and I sort of wondered how everyone's backs were after all of that. That made me worry, which is how I think maybe my back feels sometimes. My picks were not great, let's just say. I'm very rusty. I haven't done JSFL for a long time, and I had forgotten to make my picks until the very last minute. So I chose a little bit randomly. I'll tell you about my choosing strategy. But let's just say you should not pick people at the last minute because you like their glasses and their hair is in a cute bun. That is not going to work out for you. My record of either picking people who go really far in the game or who are voted out first is still perfect. But I think this is my first quitter. So that was something new. Yay. I hope you are all doing well. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Thanks, Marla. Great to hear from you again.
It's so lovely to hear her voice again.
Yeah. Next up, we got an email from Shahin in Australia.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hope you and all the Survivor fans are well. What a crazy, crazy episode. Jeff admitted post-show that they definitely messed up the casting of Hannah. From what we saw, I think there are more than one. Mm-hmm. Jeff and company have tiptoed the line on casting in recent years, but this new era where Jeff is looking for TV moments, this was a bad look. I understand there are risks in the process, but I feel like they had the secret formula kind of nailed on for 23 years. And the want for TV moments has warped that casting process. We're going to see people who mask their true self to get onto the show and then crumble on day one. The casting felt akin to the goofy casting of Nicaragua, and funnily enough, that had quitters too.
Yep.
I think both in the same episode post-merge, if I remember correctly.
Nyanka and Purple Kelly.
As predicted by many, I can't see Emily and Brandyn continuing beyond the merge. Erratic Emily is just so unlikable and isn't worth using as a vote shield, whereas Brandyn has some value in that, but whether he lasts to use him in that manner remains to be seen. I feel my Jabbick predictions have lined up well for the most part, except for Jake, who gave me a pleasant surprise. Yeah, me too. No shocks over who's the biggest narcissist out there in Drew. I'm sorry, but if you need two separate identities to mask your social ineptitude, then that's a problem. It means you aren't comfortable being a total package instead of creating identity dichotomies. Not much else to write about. Some good characters, but we need more time to make full judgments. Thanks for all you do. And thank you, Shahin.
Yeah, good job. Next up, we got a call from Justin.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and all the super fans. This is Justin from Michigan. Let me start off giving my thoughts on the Hannah quit. I know everybody else will address it, but I just wanted to emphasize that after listening to Hannah's exit press, It's clear she didn't understand or appreciate the opportunity she was given. She didn't seem apologetic at all to the fans or to, like, she just seemed selfish and entitled to me. I thought there'd be at least a little bit of regret on her part. But I don't know. That was definitely a big flaw in casting her. But looking forward with hopefully a little more positivity, I am hopeful for the rest of the cast. Brandyn and Emily, I think they can rebound. I'm not a fan of them. Unfortunately, I pivoted from Caleb to Emily as my USB. I thought, ironically, that Caleb would be too big of a personality and brush people the wrong way. So that was a totally wrong read. He seems like he's going to be easy to get along with, and it's Emily that is coming off way stronger than I anticipated. I thought she was going to pull back a little bit, or at least try to keep herself in check. But no, she's going 100% no filter, which, I mean, I guess if she's in your alliance, you know she's going to be straight with you. So I guess if they can tolerate some of her brashness, she would be good to be in an alliance with, because you know what you're going to get out of her. If I can spin it in a positive way, that's one thing that might keep Emily around, possibly. Brandyn, I don't think he's physically or mentally ready to play. It was kind of sad. They're not even sleep or food deprived yet, and he can't climb up a ladder. I'm 255 pounds, but I'm like a former athlete. I've done Tough Mudders, and so I can, run 12 miles and do obstacles. So I have no sympathy for overweight people who don't do just basic conditioning. You can overcome being a little overweight or being not in the greatest physical condition if you just simply prepare, go for a run, do, some basic weight training at the gym, something. But it doesn't seem like he physically prepared. And obviously, I don't think his mental state is perfect for Survivor. I think the level of panic attack and anxiety he has, I'm not sure if he's going to handle everything that Survivor throws at him. I'm hoping that he has a bounce back similar to David Wright, but we'll see. I have some hope for him and Emily to rebound from this episode. Like I said, I liked everybody else except possibly Sifu. He might be hamming it up for the camera a little bit too much for me, but I can handle that. I understand it's a TV show, so that's not bothering me too much. Everybody else, I think, has a lot of potential at this point. I could see everybody else managing their game and going far, especially Sabaya. She was really a standout for me. I really liked her. So yeah, Sabaya and Caleb, I love on that tribe. Sean, I think he's even keel enough. He'll be well. And then yeah, those other three were a mess. So that I feel bad for those tribe dynamics early on. I don't know how much they can win, if at all. We'll see. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Hopefully this is obviously the low point of the season and it gets better from here. Looking forward to everybody else has to say.
That's it. Can only get better from here. I think Justin nailed it.
That's it.
That should have been the title of the episode. Thanks, Justin. In one of her interviews, Hannah said that in addition to not eating and all the other challenges that she was enduring, she said she didn't get any sleep because Caleb and Sabaya snored like trucks. Said they both were extreme snorers.
Well, they didn't have a shelter, did they? Why didn't she go down to the beach?
Kind of, yeah. Kind of had a shelter. The Sabaya was guiding them through setting a kind of a hodgepodge. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Justin. Next up, we got a call from Jody.
Hey, Survivor family. We're back for another season. I'd done very, very little pre-season. I'd listened to your podcast. I'd had a quick giz at the 45 roster that Paul did. And yeah, worked evening shift last night and accidentally saw social stuff about a quit. And so I was like, oh no. I got off quick smart and have just watched episode 1. Holy good God. Wow. I thought a couple of times Brandyn had snapped his neck or was just dead, actually dead. I know he's, hey guys, I'm not dead. Dude, you died. You are dead. You are just a bobbing corpse in the water waiting to be picked off. Your enthusiasm is wonderful, but holy crow. And then him and negative Nancy Hannah dragging each other to the pits of hell. Wow. I just feel like, really? really, really, you're a therapist and can't talk yourself through. Okay, whatever. I mean, actually, I'm feeling pretty good about my USB selection of Caleb, stand-up dude, but I mean, him and Sabaya and poor Sean having to like survive this Lulu situation. Good luck to you, buddy. Wow. Otherwise, who do I like? I like Brando. Jake has some energy. Half his face is like mouth, but he seems to have some good energy. And then the Red Tribe, I don't know. Sure. Are there? Yeah, fine. What a mess this season. I mean, the dragon people off the couch, I guess. Terrific. So just about to launch into your post-game show and wow. Okay. We're in for a ride, guys. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Jody. Next up, we got a call from Jill.
Jill.
Oh my God, Joanne and Stacey. Oh my God, Survivor fans. Oh my God, Survivor's back. Is anyone else an Aries? I'm an Aries. Oh my God. I don't think I've ever been quite as disappointed or aggravated at a season opener as this one. Imagine having someone as useless as Brandyn in a tribe or someone as annoying as Emily in that tribe and someone else still went home. That blows my mind. They grabbed every stereotype of Gen Z and the younger millennials that you could find, you know, when we all talk about this younger generation, and put them all in the one tribe. And that's not fair. Like, I've got a Gen Z kid, and him and his mates, they all work hard, they work long hours. I know it's not true, you know, for the whole generation, but, oh, man, that tribe. This could be a combination of me being old and grumpy nowadays too, but I think they've really gone over the top with that tribe. Nice to have an extra half hour on the shows, but I hope they do something a little bit more constructive with them. I didn't really get a sense of many of the other players on the other teams. No one's grabbing my attention. I'm not liking anyone. Even Bruce, like, God, he even came back a bit weird. But I'm saying all of that, a bad episode of Survivor is still better than anything else on TV, so I'll take it. And hope that the rest of the season sort of picks its game up a little bit. That's probably all I've got. Nice to hear everyone again. Happy days, everyone. Oh, my God.
That was excellent. Thanks, Jill. Jill's got that glass half full for sure.
All right. Good to hear from you.
Next up, we got an email from Josh, the plush moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacey, well, that was an episode of Survivor. I've seen it twice, and I'm still shaking my head.
We've seen it 3 times.
If Emily wants to find a conspiracy, it should be how Lulu got put together in the first place. Excellent point, yes. My other observations. I'm surprised Emily's island wardrobe doesn't include a tinfoil hat. First, Hannah quit nicotine, then she quit Survivor. Emily left her couch and conspiracy corkboard to go play Survivor. Lulu needs the turn back time hourglass so Jeff can reshuffle the tribes. Does Hannah's quit continue the streak of female first vote outs? Discuss.
I think, who do you think they would have voted out? You think it would have been Emily?
No, I think it might have been Brandyn. Remember how they were A.B. and Brandyn and Emily? And we'll talk about it. There's something they didn't show.
Okay.
I don't know if Josh covers it, but I think Jeremiah does.
Okay.
And so we'll talk some more about that. And there's an angle that makes me think it might have been Brandyn. Reba is red, Bello is blue, Lulu's a lemon, you know that it's true. Oh, excellent. I love that. I like Pink Floyd, but I'm not a fan of See Emily Play. The editing has gotten ridiculous. Now they don't even show us all of the twist. There we go. That's what he's referencing. There was a twist that wasn't shown. Who knew that buffs could be so buff? Yeah, that was neat to see that innovative use of the buffs.
To pull them up the...
And it was Lulu who did it.
Yeah.
Go figure. The stars literally aligned to give us the Belo women's trio. Yeah. Yeah, they did, huh? Good old astrology saved the day. The Lemon Tribe kind of soured me on the episode. Oh, geez.
That's a good one and accurate.
Yeah, I think Jay and Brando would approve of that one. Jeff needs a dictionary. Versus implies one or the other, not both. I agree. Brandon is gravity challenged. There we go. That's the nice way to spin it. Winning the team idol is probably the only time you want Jeff to give you the bird. Well done. I wonder if the producers will make terrible buffs for season 46. I'm really looking forward to getting the intro back. Emily wanted to win or go out first. The Survivor gods almost granted her wish. I guess they didn't have mud pits and climbing walls at Sabaya's boot camp. Emily, Eeyore, and exasperating all begin with the letter E. Coincidence? I think not. I get a fish earworm every time someone says Reba. Good thing I like the song. Wouldn't it be wild if the final three were all lawyers?
Oh.
Wow. Okay. For some reason, I didn't see that coming. But yeah, it's just right there staring you in the face, isn't it? Bruce isn't a leader, but he tries to play one on TV. Yeah. Did anyone else notice the flashing light in one of Bello's trees?
Yes,
about
we
24
did.
minutes in? Yeah, we did see that.
We commented on it, and I thought it was a camera lens.
Yeah.
That's up.
Yeah.
That
I don't
was
think
up
we
in the
mentioned it
tree.
on the recap. It was when we were watching this the second time.
So
That
did you see that
you could see a
flash?
lens flash, it looked like. Yeah. Emily decided to beat the rush by getting paranoid on day one. Software developer Brando needs to create a log carrying app. At the marooning, Jeff should have everyone draw the season's advantages from a bowl. Maybe that will stop the nonsense that people who come back empty-handed from a trip have gotten one. That's one way to solve it. Hannah can do hard things. Continuing to play Survivor isn't one of them. Sifu's Spy Shack is to Tony's as Rupert's shelter was to Boston Rob's. Wow, what a comparison. I love that. I love that legacy look back. And yeah, that's perfect. If we
Poor Rupert, he's never living down that shelter.
Not as long as we remember it. Digging down on a beach. If we get the 12 labors of Austin, he'll get his vote back in the finale. That's it. Did anyone else hear Jeff tell Bruce to keep his head down in the challenge? Did you hear that?
I heard him. I didn't hear him say it to Bruce, but I did hear him say it.
Oh, okay. I totally missed that. Lulu.
After 3 times.
Yeah. Lulu may not have Flint, but at least they've got their pot and machete now. Will weird, aggressive Emily morph into normal, calm Emily as the game progressive? Good question. Doesn't seem likely, though. Next time, Emily is public enemy number 1, and Bruce does stupid stuff.
More stupid stuff.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanna Stacy, for all you do. Can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Did awesome there. Good job.
Just don't know what Bruce is thinking. Why does he think? I have drunk uncles, and they were never fun. Not ever.
You mean literal, actual?
Literal.
Yeah.
Alcoholic uncles, and they were never fun.
Bruce, he's got it. He drank the Kool-Aid. He's trying for TV moments. He's looking for catchphrases, anything that they can pick up on. So I think that's what's going on there.
But he looks so goofy, and just the look in Kelly's eyes should tell him something. If he
I did love
looked
that
at her.
in the edit. It looked like we were getting her reaction to his overreaction. To Emily coming at him at the marooning, and she looked like how I felt on the inside.
Yeah, she was very close, I would say, to a great eye roll.
Yes. Yep. Good stuff. Thanks again, Josh. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Well, that was an unforgettable premiere. Hey, everybody, it's Jeremiah. Yeah, unforgettable, of course, in a very negative way, too, with Hannah's quit. And you know what really bums me out, too, is I was really enjoying the episode leading up to her quit. I mean, I thought that the pacing was great. I wasn't feeling overwhelmed with like lots of twists and things like that. You know, I was getting a really good vibe of what was going on with the tribe tribes. I was just really enjoying it. And then Hannah quits. Ugh. And the girl wasn't even barely out there. She's faced very little challenges compared to other quitters. Probably the worst quitter ever, perhaps? She even ruined our opportunity to see a new twist that was supposed to happen in the game. Ugh. Well, hopefully production and casting has learned something from Hannah and can make sure this doesn't happen again. I'll tell you what, though, she had me fooled because I had her in my top 4, so clearly I had the blinders over my eyes just like they did. Now, as for the rest of this yellow tribe, I see you, yellow tribe, and all your craziness. I tell you, this is going to be a hot take, but I'm loving Emily. She is fantastic. Y'all, this is the kind of player we've been missing from Survivor in the new era. Someone who clearly, of course, is not good at the game whatsoever and is creating a completely unnecessary drama because she can't control herself. I mean, she's fantastic. You know, she admitted in her pregame stuff that production and them told her that she's pretty much like Cass. Well, they nailed that. She's Chaos Cass 2.0 for sure. And y'all, I am here for it. I know people can't wait for her to get voted out. And hey, she's probably not going to last not much longer anyway, but I'm just here for it. I love the unnecessary drama. This is fantastic. And as far as Brandon's concerned, we shouldn't be surprised about his gameplay. He even admitted during his pregame stuff that he almost didn't get on the plane to come out there. That's how nervous he is. So you can make the argument of whether or not they should have casted him, but he's a giant fan. I'd really be surprised if he actually quits, even if he kind of wants to. So I understand that, a lot of fans were upset after this episode, but y'all, we've got a really good cast here. The rest of this group looks really, really solid, especially the women. I'm not surprised about that, as that's one of my predictions, that the women are going to do very well. My USB Kelly, I thought, looks really good. I mean, there's a lot of really exciting players out there for us to root for. Now, one that I kind of changed my line a little bit on is Sifu. He is going to be making me a little bit nervous, but on a positive side, I'm feeling a little bit better about Sean. I think he might have legs on that yellow tribe. Yeah. So personally, I don't think we have anything to get upset about. I think this is going to be a great season. And as far as my predictions for next week, I mean, it's like I said, it's really hard not to imagine the yellow tribe going back to tribal council. So right now, I'm leaning towards probably Emily going home, even though I'm rooting for her to stay. And yeah, that's it for me. Everyone take care. And until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Appreciate that take on it. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. What was that? I had so many other notes on the rest of the episode, but toss that out the window. Were there not enough people that applied for Survivor? I mean, Hannah checked out so quickly. They had to know before she went out there that she was a risk to be doing this. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a personality like hers and like Brandon's in a player. I mean, to Brandon's credit, though, I think that he's really trying. He's trying to stay out there, weak as he is. But now that I've said that, to be honest with you, I feel like I would not be surprised if I saw a quit in him as well. We'll see. Yeah. But that tribal council was the biggest dumpster fire I think I've seen. And we've all seen some doozies. I mean, if there ever was a player who deserved and needed to go home first, it is Emily. I think that's why I'm doubly mad. I mean, poor Sabiyah and Caleb, and even Sean. We don't know Sean so well. We didn't see much of him. But when Sabiyah agreed to vote Hannah out, I think she looked like she was going to throw up. They wanted to vote Emily out so badly that she actually begged Hannah, can you please hold on just one more tribal council so that we can do what we were going to do? We really needed Emily to go home this last episode because we all know that history shows us that if that annoying player gets a foothold, we've got them there the whole season. And I really don't want to be watching Emily and Emily's brand of playing for a whole season. Okay, now that I've gotten some of my subjective disappointment off my chest, some objective thoughts that I have, particularly concerning Emily, are I can't believe her perspective on the Smart Savvy challenge and who went. It really kind of made me laugh. First, she says, don't you think it's weird that they volunteered and they were the only two that volunteered to go do this challenge? I think that's suspicious. Well, Emily, 2 people had to volunteer to go on this challenge. And then when they came back and said that they were not successful, she suggests that they just went and relaxed the whole time. Did they think it was just like a reward where they went and I don't know. I just thought, these are things you say inside your head, Emily. You don't say them out loud. Well, I imagine this tribe is going to lose again. They're not very strong or cohesive, so I'll just cross my fingers and hope that Emily is voted out very soon. And I hope that Brandon hangs in there. I mean, he's a pretty weak guy, but I don't think this season can afford another quit. So my thoughts on some other players. The Reba tribe is very strong. J. Maya, my opinion has changed on her. She's a lot stronger than I thought she was going to be. I like Sifu a lot, but I think he and Bruce are just tipping their hand too much. They're playing too hard too fast. I like everyone on the Reba tribe. Kendra kind of entertains me with all of her astrology talk. I liked Drew's first confessional. My opinion on him, I think, has changed a little bit for the better. I like Caleb and Sabaya a lot. I think Brando and Jake had good first showings too. And I think Katura is very smart. I'm hoping that Emily will be the next to go. And that's it for me. I can't wait to hear others' perspectives. And here's hoping that this season only gets better from here. Till next week, bye.
Thanks, Jen. Yes, definitely hoping it only gets better. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here, and I'm doing this with no notes, so beware. I'm just going to run through the faces again and tell you what I think of them now that we've seen them in action. So, Brando, about the same. I still like him. Bruce might be trying a little hard, but Jake is about the same that I thought he'd be. Katura is better. I thought she'd be floaty, but she seems to have game, so I like that. Kelly, I wish I picked her for my USB instead of D. Not that I have anything against D. I still like her, but I really liked Kelly. Kendra, much better than I thought. Much better. I think she's going to make the merge. Brandon, let's skip him. Okay? Let's go to Emily. We're going to skip her, too. And yeah, we're skipping Hannah also. Okay. Caleb, better than I thought. I thought I'd like him the least on the tribe. He turns out to be the best part, I think. Yeah. So, hey, way to go, Caleb. Sabaya, wow, so disappointing. Oh, well. Sean, I liked far better than I thought I would, but he seems to cry a lot, so maybe not. Austin, gotta say, really liked him. Dee, I gotta say, I liked the way she called out Sifu. I'm still happy with my USB, but given a choice, I'd pick Kelly over D again, if I could do it again. Drew, much better than I thought. I mean, he could handle a machete, maybe not expertly, but he was holding his own. I'm shocked. Yeah. J. Maya did not offend me, and neither did Julie. Sifu, you're playing too hard already. I think people are noticing you in the wrong way. So let's go back to Brandon, okay? I'm sure you've all covered this already, but wow, that was amazing. I know my limitations. I'm not trying out for Survivor. What makes somebody like Brandon think he could do that? Why do you put yourself out like that, knowing that you are so ill-equipped to handle the task? I just don't get it. Emily, she's the toxic offender. She just can't rub anybody the right way. It's always wrong. And doesn't she remind you of an Oompa Loompa? Hannah, wow. Here's my prediction for next week. I would say that Emily goes next, but I really think Hannah set the stage for Brandon to also quit. I think Emily's going to be safe. I think Brandon's going somehow next week because there's just no way the Yellow Tribe is ever going to win Lulu. And that's just the way I see it. And that's it for me, I guess, right now. I got to say, I won't be here next week. I am taking a weeks-long deserved vacation. And then I'm going to jump right back into work again. So no rest for the wicked, right? I guess that's it for me. Everybody take care. Bye.
Excellent.
Well, have an awesome trip.
Yeah, very cool. Oompa Loompa. I was thinking Veruca Salt. I think that's the spoiled brat little rich girl. She's definitely got Veruca Salt. Emily's got Veruca Salt vibes from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, yeah, you love that. I don't think I've ever watched it all the way through.
Yeah. With Gene Wilder. That's the
that
one true good one. Yep. And I don't like musicals, but for some reason I can watch that.
Okay.
Yeah, Veruca Salt. I think that's her name.
I think Lulu will lose next week as well.
So let's go back to that. I was thinking somebody went into more detail on the twist that we didn't get to see, but this was in the On Fire with Jeff Probst's podcast. He talked about it. So there's a new thing this season where the winning tribe, the first tribe to win, in this case it was Bello, chooses someone to go to the tribe that's going to tribal council's camp and observe them before they go to tribal council, interact and whatever from that perspective. And this time Bello chose Kendra. So shortly after the Lulu tribe went and washed off in the water to get all that mud off, a boat came and dropped Kendra off, and then she started talking and interacting with everyone. And what they didn't know is that just before they left for tribal council, basically when they were done, Kendra went to their tree mail and cast a vote. So the person from the other tribe that comes to interact and observe and all that actually gets a vote. And Probe said that Kendra had voted for Brandyn. So she had spent time talking with everyone on the Lulu tribe, and her takeaway was that she was going to vote for Brandyn. That's who she cast. That's why I said it maybe Brandyn was the one that was going to go, even though we're all thinking it would have been Emily. We don't know for sure, but because certainly Sabaya was tired of dealing with Emily, so it still might have been her.
But with physicality, Brandyn was hurting them and trying to drag him and lift him and do the help that he needs in the challenges. They'll never be able to win anything.
Even the help that he needs when they're in camp.
Even if they had to help Emily, which she seems to hold her own okay.
Or they got to battle Emily the whole time.
Exactly, or ignore her
mentally. But she's trying on the in that first marooning challenge. She was really close. They were close to getting their flint. It was right at the edge when Reba had pulled theirs out.
Even if Brandyn was just not good at certain things, but he seemed to struggle with most things.
Everything.
Well, he got up over the first hurdle and went down into the mud, but he seemed to do that okay.
Then it was all kind of downhill again from there. But even when they're back in camp, he's pulling down their energy, and they're having to take time to comfort him because his acid reflux, and he's breaking down in tears, and he needs a hug from Caleb and from Sabaya, and the Brandyn tax is really high.
Yeah.
And so I could see why they would opt to put a vote on him. And I bet you they're regretting when they got back to camp, they were regretting not going ahead and voting, because they very likely could have gotten rid of Brandyn and Hannah in one swipe, and it just would have been better for the tribe. Can't see how that wouldn't have turned out better for them.
In the long run?
Yeah, even if you got to still wrestle with Emily or win her over, maybe you can win her over.
Maybe win her over.
Look, you heard Probst. We didn't get anything. We didn't lie to you. We didn't relax at the challenge. And we've been working harder than anyone since we got on the boat. So maybe you could talk Emily around, although that impulse control says you're never quite sure what's going to happen with her.
Well, I think that's why Sabaya had so much trouble getting through the mud, is having to haul those 40 logs.
They were wrecked.
Yeah, absolutely. You just don't get over that kind of thing quickly.
No pot, no food. They didn't seem to be as innovative as
no fire, no nothing.
As the Bello tribe, because Bello was cracking coconuts and eating coconut and drinking coconut milk because they had that sharp rock they were using to get them open.
But they had Bruce to tell them how to do it.
Maybe, yeah.
He is the one that told them and showed them.
Seemed like that might be the case. We didn't see it explicitly.
It's absolutely the case. Yes, we did. She said to Bruce, I think it was Kendra, said directly to Bruce, that was a good idea you had.
Okay. I didn't perceive it exactly that way.
Well, you're wrong.
Getting some coconut in them definitely gave them some advantage, and they were innovative in doing that, whereas the Lulu tribe doesn't really have any of that going on.
So he must have learned something either from being out there or just the knowledge from watching Survivor.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate all of you that took the time to share your thoughts and your predictions and prognostications today. We enjoyed it. We appreciate hearing from all of you. It's great hearing for some voices we hadn't heard from in years. Definitely. Good stuff. Also, big thanks to Erica, Hazel, Christy for your subscription donations. We appreciate your support that goes to our operational costs, which are always clicking away. So thank you so much for that.
And if you play in JSFL, don't forget to make your week 2 picks for one person voted off and 4 people who are still safe at the end of the episode. So is there anything else you wanted to cover?
I think we got it. The extra video with the Reba tribe making fire, the twist that we didn't get to see, but we expect to see. And then the full intro will be back for the first time in so many seasons next week. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I think we're okay. I want to shake off the Hannah incident and move on to bigger and better.
All right.
So we're looking forward to next week's episode. I can say that with a straight face. And because it can only get better.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think so too. So.
And we'll be back on Wednesday with our next recap after that. Have a good one.